Good afternoon, YouTube. All right, so there's some testimony going out there about why people are buying TYM, LS, Coyote, some of the other good brands that are Mahindra that don't get a lot of attention that they probably do deserve to be recognized. It was one of those eye openers of capitalism for me. I'm an American, born, bred. My ancestors landed in Virginia in 1620. They settled the southeast, fought in every American war there's been in before America. My sister is a member of the Daughters of the Revolution. Myself, I am a member of the Sons of the Confederacy. But I'm an American. I want to support America. I want to have America thrive. And that means business and economics and probably some things that I don't necessarily understand, but understand enough to know that capitalism, when there's a product out there that people want, they'll buy it. And when they don't, they won't buy it, and that company probably won't exist very much. And that brings us to this red tractor I got sitting here I'm leaning up against. Because I'm an American, we all know the tractor icons. Obviously John Deere, Case International, or International Harvester, McCormick, Caterpillar. The list kind of goes on, and it kind of depends on what genre of agriculture or construction or XYZ you might be part of, that you may, or even regions of the country that you may favor one or the other. Even though John Deere helped feed the Yankees and during the war between the states, that company was top of my list. I've operated Deere. I like Deere. You see a green and yellow tractor out in the middle of a field a mile away, you don't have to guess what it is, you know. But I like Deere. I think they make a good product for the most part, and all that. My dad, it's funny, he's the same as I, but boy, he just loves that Japanese companies. He loves Kubota, Toyota, and I kind of grew up with Kubota and Toyotas, and now I drive a Ram Cummins and drive a TYM tractor. But anyways, I finally had my dream slightly come true. Southeast Idaho, we had bought a starter home in a small town not too far from here. Love the town, but the town is becoming a metropolis. The town went from about maybe 5,000 to 12,000 in less than 3 years. It's exploded. That's not what I wanted anymore. And we knew when we bought that house it was going to be a starter home, sell and move on to bigger and better things. So we were able to get some ground out of there about, 15 miles, 12 miles, and start a life on a piece of ground that we could actually do something with and go. We had that ground for a while. We sold our house, and that allowed us to build a new house on here. But I had all this ground now and no real good way to manage it. I knew that I was going to need a good tractor. I knew I was going to need a certain amount of horsepower, a certain amount of size, and a certain amount of oomph to do the things I'm doing. I just punched down 5 post holes with my post hole digger here. I did it at like 1,500 RPMs. Didn't even have to get to the 540. So I'm blessed with decent ground, very, very little rock. But anyways, so I went tractor hunting. First stop, the green machine, Deere. I wanted really bad a 5075M. I knew I wanted a cab. The summers here are hellacious, and they last from May to about October. You're going to want a cab. It's not unbearable up to June, but from June through September, you do not want to be on a tractor without a cab. And knowing myself and knowing that I'm getting older, hell, I'm only 40, but I knew I could get a lot more done if I could have a little bit of relief with that cab. So the cab was a must. It wasn't a must as in like I can't do it without it, but it was a must, and to get the amount of work done that I needed to do, it was a priority. Let's put it that way. So I wanted a 5075 M, knowing that I would grow into that tractor. I did not need a 5075 now, but I could foresee myself needing it in the future. So you buy one or two size tractors bigger than you think you're going to be at or you need at the moment, and that's probably what you're going to need. It's a general good rule of thumb, but it's not for everybody. And I thought I broke my jaw when it hit the floor on the price. When I went and saw the tractor, and they're, you know how Deere is. They're like, oh yeah, that tractor right there is, we're gonna say 55,000. 55,000. Okay. All right. I was expecting a high number. Then they mentioned, oh, but with the cab, that brings it to 62. And with the loader, that brings it to $75,000. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, $75,000, is this thing gonna like never break down and the maintenance gonna be free for the rest of its life? And I'm trying to do all this number, and I don't even have an implement yet. And I'm like, okay, what about a 5055E? Okay, yeah, that brought it down probably, I think it was 63,000 without a cab. And I'm like, son of a gun. So I was really disheartened. I knew a 4 Series would do me fine for now, and I'm sure it would. 4 Series are great, the 40, but then again, you get in the same thing. You're like, a 4 Series, a tractor class smaller than the 5 Series with less capability, as in lift capacities and whatnot, it costs about the same as a 5065M. And you're like, those are two completely different tractors, supposedly doing different things or meant to do different things, and they cost the same. And then you start thinking about the John Deere quick attach bucket they have is proprietary, so everything you gotta get for the front goes that. And I would say there's quite a few that do, but there's quite a few that don't. And I'm like, well, damn. So, trying to stay with a newer to new tractor, I went with the next one I knew, which was Kubota. I was shocked, and then once I got to thinking about it, not shocked, that how similar the prices were for the tractor. I mean, there's pros and cons to every tractor, machine, truck, gun, whatever out there, period. And so there were some things I liked more about the Kubota than I liked about the Deere, and vice versa, and whatever. But they were within pennies once you're starting to talk about the $60,000, $70,000 tractor. So, jumped over to Case. I went to Case because I like Case. They're okay. I'm not a big fan of their construction stuff, but I see a lot of farmers running Case out here, and Case IH is at least got some sort of agriculture behind it with IH, International Harvester. So went there. They had a really good tractor. It was about 10 grand less than the other two. And I was like, okay, but man, that was not the number I need to hit. $60,000. I did look at New Holland. They were a competitor. And I only looked at New Holland really for two things, and that was one, name recognition, and just capabilities that it had. And so I was like, well, it was right around that Case number, 55,000 or so. And we're talking these tractors at the time, I was looking for 60 to 75 horse. So anyways, started using the old YouTube here, because that's what I believe YouTube should be, is everybody's information, true to them, coming out to y'all, and for you to make your informed decision about what your needs are. I'm not here to tell you, do this, do that, this is great, this is not. That's none of my business. But I'll tell you my truth and how things are going for me, and hopefully you can take that and make it work for you. Came across a couple of great YouTube guys. They seem very genuine and God-fearing, and so first comes to mind is Hank Hamilton. Then there's Lucas over at Lucas Peak, or Peaks Peak. Homestead Acres, Rock Hill Farm. There's Tractor Time with Tim, Tony's Tractor Adventures. There's some I'm missing, and I'm sorry, y'all. But so I started looking at these guys. Some were driving Kubotas, some were driving Coyotes. I watched. There's another guy down in Texas, and I cannot recall your channel. Sorry. He drove an LS. There's another guy that drove an LS that I watched. There was one was in Indiana, I believe, and one was in Texas. Anyways, I watched them all. And I had a TYM dealer here. I knew I had an LS dealer here, a Mahindra dealer, and a Coyote dealer. So when you get priced out as an American by an American company with a need that you need for your property, you're going to do what you have to do. And that forced me to go look at some other companies. My top two were Coyote and TYM. And I nearly pulled the trigger on a 66 horse Coyote. There's a few features about it and a few things that I was not super happy about. Not like, oh my gosh, it's horrible, but I just didn't want on my tractor. And one was the 66 that I was fixing on buying. Was the last model year it was going to be made. It was being refreshed, I believe, in late 24, 25. And so I'm just like, well, okay. It's kind of like, every generation of a new truck, whatever. At least it's the last year, not the first year. But they didn't have a cab at the dealer, but they said they can get one from Texas. I'm like, okay, acceptable. Then I tried to switch out the bucket to a pair of skid forks or loader forks on that Coyote, and I couldn't see the hookup very well, so guess what I did? Everybody else does. Stood up. And when I did that, the tractor shut itself off. I was like, nope. I'm very confident you could probably turn that safety feature off, and I know that's what it is. It's a safety feature. There's also, Coyote's got some safety features that for startup sequencing too. But anyways, so then I glanced at the LSs. I wasn't too terribly into them. Coyote and TYM just got my attention. And anyways, as y'all know, I ended up with a TYM 574. I'll tell you right now, it is not the tractor I set out to get. It is not. The tractor I want, they didn't make at the time, but they do now. The tractor I wanted real bad was that 4058P, the one they have out now. That is the one I want. I was screaming politely at my dealer, tell TYM when you go to South Korea, because he was fixing on going to South Korea for a TYM business core meeting update, whatever, for the dealers. It's like, you tell those Koreans, thank you from America, but please God, put a freaking cab on that, what was it, 5038R or whatever it was, Legacy Branson. He did later tell me he did tell him that, but the 4058 came out now, and that's what that's what it is. That is the tractor I wanted. That is the size, that is the power, that is the power shuttle shift I wanted. Typical of my fashion, I'm a year late and $1 short. So I ended up with this TYM 55 horse 574. Now, as of right now, this tractor has been phenomenal. Great. It's slightly exceeded what I thought it was going to do. I mean, I lift 4x4 by 8 square bales with relative ease. The biggest hindrance I have on that isn't the tractor, it's my dadgum forks. I only have a 2-prong fork. I need a 4-prong fork for those. So anyways, that's a me issue, not a tractor issue. However, this tractor's done everything I wanted to and more. But you talk about going from the joy of owning the tractor you've wanted since you were 6 to just getting kicked square in the nuts and realizing that's not going to happen. And you go online and you try and find something new or used. I did that for 2 months. I looked very hard for anything from a 575, 575, 565, 555, 4066. I didn't really, I looked at the 40, 45 or whatever, the 45 horse, I think. I looked all the way down to that horsepower number, knowing that was going to be okay for now, but not next year type situation. And they were 10 grand less with 200 miles on there for new. And yes, I'm well aware 200 hours on a tractor is barely broken. Yes, I'm completely aware. I couldn't hardly find any with 400 hours on there. I was like, give me a 5075, because they're more likely to have more hours on them. A 5075 at the cab with 500 hours on it. Good luck finding them. And then they finally start coming down to earth on prices, and they're still $50,000. And not near me, by the way. They're Midwest or down south or something like that, and I'm just like, so but it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. You want to buy American. Granted, I know Deere in that size is not made in America. Made primarily in India, a little bit in Mexico. And you're just like, Finding used Case and New Holland Massey's. Massey's not super popular here. They're around, but they're not many. It's primarily Case and Deere here for the ag. A lot of older International Harvester. There's a lot of IH around here that's older. We're talking like 70s, 80s. So I got this ground now, and I'm like, you just have this pit. Like, what am I gonna do now? I can't do it all myself. So when I was able to find those channels, educate myself on the capacities these smaller tractors than I had originally wanted actually have. That was a big thing for me, knowing I'm lifting these 4x4x8 bales. Now granted, I'm not doing it all day every day, but I do move them. That this little tractor can lift that 1,500 plus pound bale with ballast and do it safely. I didn't need the 5075. I wanted the 5075, but I didn't need it. And there are benefits to a slightly smaller tractor. This T574 is very, very, very similar to a 4066 in size, not in lift capacity. It'll kick that thing square in the nuts and feed it to the hogs. That Deere doesn't stand a chance. Coyote, it's just right here neck and neck with these things, and it's right neck and neck with the price too. Then you go to find out that, you know, Deere's got computers and sensors and gazers and lasers and all types of phasers on it. And you look at this thing and you're like, huh, that's a mechanical fuel P pump that I've recognized since 1989. And that looks very similar to a Cummins 4BT. I got some experience with all that. I can work that. It's just, kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, there are some computer things that I have slightly wished that I had on here. Basically to make room for ergonomics. At the same time, it's like, okay, I can live without it for the price. But that Bosch 3-point system, that is freaking handy. That is way handy. So things like that I could use, but I wouldn't use that enough to pay for it. So again, it's like wants versus needs, right? But then you get, you know, beat up online. And this is the same for LS, Coyote, TYM, probably even Mahindra, about owning what you own because it fits your needs, because it fits your budget. And we have not even broke the seal on the politics. That I could go another 30-minute, hour and 30-minute video just on that. But I want you to know, John Deere, that you're killing yourself. Capitalism will catch up to you. I know us small ranchers, small-time farmers, homesteaders, and backyard gardeners aren't your primary audience. For whatever reason, you either concentrate on large ag or no ag, because you have priced yourself so astronomically high that the average American, of which we want to support you, you don't support us in making an affordable tractor. And to that end, capitalism will win. Capitalism always wins. It's a shame, though. It's a real shame. We want you to succeed. We want to support you. We want you to make an affordable tractor with the one piece of equipment on the tractor that we buy a tractor for, the daggum loader, for less than we paid for our pickup truck. When you buy a tractor less than, I'm going to say 90 horsepower, definitely less than probably 100 horsepower, you are not buying a tractor to till ground all day, every day. You are buying it to move stuff like gravel, sand, dirt, pallet forks, quick attach. Now, man, you're moving everything with your tractor. Not only are you moving it, you're lifting it. And then you got guys like me who are going to have an arena. You got to groom it. You got, stuff like this. I need to eventually get this under control, but I'm going to throw some livestock out here and let them take down some of these weeds this year and, try and get something going on next year. That's what the American dream is. Buy a piece of ground, build your home, build your family, love and fear God, love your country, raise your kids, and go about your life. But to do that, in today's society, having a tractor is not only, a want, but it's a necessity all the time. And you're missing the game. I could care less if you have 200 part stores near me with all the parts in the world if I can't afford to buy your daggum tractor in the first place. It's you see how that math works? I don't have a lot of hours on this TYM. I do have a dealer that seems he's reputable in the community for sure, but he's definitely seems very honest. First thing he told me is it's not a bulldozer. Like, yep. However, he's 12 minutes away from me, and I have yet to need him other than to buy filters on my first go around anyways. So it doesn't matter to me that you may have every part in the world at your fingertips. One, for the price I'm paying for the daggum thing, I should never have to go to the dealership other than to buy filters. Now, I'm a realist. I know that's not going to be always the case. Whatever. It's a tractor. You're going to break something. There's a saying in my line of work, if you're not breaking anything, you're not working. Because you're not pushing things to the limit. You're not, working hard. However, you work these machines. You don't abuse them, but you work them. But my God, you cannot stay alive if you want to stay in America because you want to outprice somebody else because of name recognition, and that is the only thing you're buying with a John Deere, and parts availability possibly. Although my buddy had a, what do you have? He had a 5100 John Deere last year, and guess what? A sensor activating his DEF control went out. Took 2 months for John Deere to get the sensor, but they would not sell it to him to put it on. They needed him to bring it in to do it themselves, is what he told me. And he said it was 2 bolts, a plug. That was it. Yeah. Oh, I was like, you gotta be kidding. He missed 80% of the hay season last year because of it. So, you got other issues that you're dealing with too, John Deere. We buy these tractors because we're mechanically inclined. We can fix them. And if we don't fix them and something else breaks because of what we did, guess what? That's our responsibility. That's my business. That's my piece of property. I'll do as I please and make my own mistakes. It's not yours anymore. It is my piece of property. And I know it has a lot to do with the software programming and probably more large ag stuff. And I give 2 rips. If you want to deal with all that GPS and mumbo jumbo under the hood as far as trying to keep your tractor just running, you do you. You're not getting sued over it. Good luck there. I don't think you're going to be doing too well there, but we'll see. For those of you who think only in orange or only in green, time to wake up, man. It really is. People doubted Toyota when they first came to the States. Could you imagine that today? They doubted Toyota. They're like, oh, that little Jap car will never make it. That it doesn't have a power go up a hill. Oh, that little truck can't do anything. Yeah, here they are, man. And they are not going anywhere. Not to mention that South Korea is one of our biggest and most important allies over in the South China Sea. Somewhere over there. Right next to freaking China. We fought a war with them. We fought a war with South Korea against North Korea and China. You might want to pick up a history book. Blew up friggin' Japan. Kubota's here to stay. Toyota, Honda, Subaru, they're all here to stay. You make a good product, America's going to find it. America's going to find it, and we're going to buy it. I do a lot of gun stuff too. I remember when Glock came out, or I read about it in the history books. Glock came out. Nobody thought that Glock was going to take off. That Austrian guy, he supposedly stole a 10 millimeter round and made a gun off of it because the FBI was trying to go to 10 mm. And anyways, there's a funny story there. But Glock, everybody doubted Glock. It was Colt. It was Smith & Wesson. Glock was not in the picture. Here they are. Oh, that plastic gun. It revolutionized the entire firearms industry for having a poly lower frame. Not to mention a double stack mag. Revolutionized it. And it's known as one of the toughest, if not the toughest, most reliable semi-automatic handguns ever made. And if it's not the, as in the number one, it is by far 100% in the top 3. And I'm a 1911 guy. So, if it's good, America will find it. Well, I think America has found, and thanks to Fauci and the Democrats and all the other piss ants over there who shoved COVID so far down our throat that forced us into loving our land even more, America's finding TYM. America's finding Coyote, LS, Mahindra. because they are realizing that Deere, Kubota, Case, New Holland have all outpriced themselves. Guys who didn't think they needed a tractor are like, hey, COVID happened. Oh, let's go over here and try and grow a garden. Might need a 25 horsepower tractor to plant an acre and a half. Okay. Holy crap, you want to pay $50,000, $45,000 for a 1025? No. So, because people and the things of the world are the way they are now and have been in recent history, we have, as a society, found out that tractors are stupidly expensive and know who makes the expensive ones now. So, like the way of Toyota, like the way of Honda, Subaru, Glock, H&K, Americans are finding really good products in tractors that are not made in America, that are not American companies, but are dang good and half the price. Capitalism. So the point of this is I own this for a reason. I did a lot of research for a reason. I had wants and needs just like everybody else, and I had the drive to buy American. And I still do. I try and buy American hand tools all the time. I'm slowly switching everything over to Milwaukee power tools right now. It's just, maybe I have a thing for red. Whatever. But yeah, it's, I want to buy American. That Toby Keith song said it best, spend an extra $1 for the tag that says USA on it. That was me. But that tag better not be 4 times what that product is worth, or double the cost of something else that is just as good or better, that has more capabilities than what you have. So, John Deere, I hope you're watching this. I hope the people that are watching this, and I appreciate you watching, I really do. I hope that you understand it has nothing to do with my lack of Americanism or my lack of patriotism. My American roots go deep, real deep. Put mine up against anybody's. But this economy is not what it was in 1960, 1940, or 1890. It's a world economy now. That whole globalism is a real thing. But I am a believer in that God created talents in all people. And when those talents are good, that good will show through to the world. So it's something we need to have a serious conversation about. I had to get over myself and realize that the dream of owning green is not a reality. It's just not. So, with that, I bought a TYM South Korean made tractor, 55 horsepower, that lifts more, costs half as much. And because it costs half as much, now I have 7 implements I can use with it. And the implements are how you use a tractor and get things done. So, YouTube, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all watching. Any fanboys out there, hit me up, man. I mean, I would love to have you come bring your tractor out here and see what yours can do that mine can't. I really do. Same class tractor. I mean, my TYM 574 is not a 5 Series John Deere, but it's a 4 Series. Bring your 4 Series out here. So, I hope y'all found this. If you're looking to buy a TYM, Mahindra, LS Coyote, maybe even a Summit, and there's a few others out there, but those primarily ones, and you're on the fence because of, you hear people say parts, you hear people say dealers. Dealers are important. Be on their good side, get along with them, have a good dealer. But if you're on the fence just because it's not a Kubota or John Deere case or International Harvester, get over yourself. Numbers don't lie. They really don't. Make a chart. I dare you. I did. I made a chart about 5 series. Oh, Lordy. And then just prioritize that chart. What's the most important to you? Is it lifting capacity, price, capabilities, parts? What? And then see who comes out on top on your priority list. But throw TYM LS Coyote in there. Yeah. You'll be shocked. I was really surprised. It took me a while. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna take some time, but it took me a while, but I'm glad I did it. Like Trump, the numbers do not lie. The numbers are what they are. The numbers are the numbers. So again, if you have a problem because it's not green or orange, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I'm out here getting things done. I got, all this and more. I gotta work. And I'm getting it done slowly. I mean, I'm only one man, but God willing, I'll be here long enough. This tractor will be here long enough to do it. I think if I just don't treat it like a piece of construction equipment and treat it the way it's supposed to be ran and designed, guess what? I think I'll be all right. Just don't abuse your equipment. Have I pushed this thing? Yes, I have pushed it, but I have not abused it. And there is a fine line difference. Sometimes you find it too late, but regardless. Anyways, YouTube, I do appreciate y'all. Sorry for the ramble rant, but know that if you own this TYM Coyote LS, you'll find the fanboys or they'll find you, and yada yada yada. Try not to let it get to you. I could really care less. I usually think it's pretty funny. However, I always come back to the scripture saying, when you believe and are in your strongest, that's when you're going to be attacked. So, it is what it is. People want to rain on other people's praise. I couldn't tell you how happy I was when this came. It's a joy, man. It really is. You have to have enough self-fortitude to brave those arrows. But don't let those arrows scare you. Don't let them scare you from your dream of, ground out here that you need to do stuff with this thing, but you're scared because somebody tells you it's not green, not orange, not going to work. Prove them wrong. Anyways, YouTube, I hope you all have a good day. God bless y'all, and thank you for watching.